What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is DeMarcus here with the Beta Project. You can always watch us on YouTube at Humble and Focused, all one word. And today's July 12th, 2019, and today's video is It's Your Right. And today's quote is successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their abilities, which means they are the same in what they can do. They vary in their desires to reach their potential. That's huge, ladies and gentlemen, which means that we kind of talked about a little bit about it yesterday, is that it matters on how you view things and how you go at things. If you're not willing to put that effort in, you can have the same abilities as a person next to you, but you're not going to win. You know, not everybody else can run as fast as Usain Bolt. Why? Because they're not putting that effort in. But it doesn't mean that they don't have the potential to do that, but they just don't have the desire to do that. So as long as you don't put the desire in to reach that potential, you'll never reach it. So we're going to go and get started. We're going to do a lot of reading today. I got some good stuff for you. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Let me go ahead and put you right there. Boom. I don't know. I got the ship shirt on. I was cooking breakfast this morning. There we go. Much better. Give me my blues. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. So today we're going to be reading from Think and Grow Rich. I'm still reading the last chapter of this. I'll be able to finish this in the next couple days. Hopefully, I've been taking my time with it because it's so good. With this last chapter is so powerful. I took my time with it, and so I got to a point where I was like, man, I want to go to the next part, but I had to do a video on it beforehand. And I'm going to read to you from this book because it's so important. I'm going to read you some of the highlighted things, and we're going to read some things. We're going to talk about some things. So it talks about the control that you have about yourself, meaning it's your right to control yourself and what goes in your brain. This last part of this chapter here, before we go into the next section, is actually called, they talk about outwitting the six ghosts of fear, but the seventh ghost, or I guess the seventh basic evil, is actually called the Devil's Workshop. And I'm going to read you what they say. In addition to the six basic fears, there is another evil by which people suffer. It constitutes a rich soil in which the seeds of failure grow abundantly. It is so subtle that its presence often cannot be detected. This affliction can properly be classified as a fear. It is more deeply seated and more oftenly fail than all the other six fears. For want of a better name, let's call this evil, susceptibility to negative influences. Men who accumulate great riches always protect themselves against this evil. The poverty-stricken never do. Those who succeed in any calling must prepare their minds to resist this evil. So, we're talking about resisting the evil of negativity that might be in your life, where you don't know where it's coming from. It might be inside of you. It might be coming from somewhere else. But the problem is, it's there. And if you're not combating this evil, then you're not going to be successful in anything that you put your mind to, because your mind is a breeding ground for what is. Luckily for you, there is a way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about here. We're going to go ahead and read this part here. You have absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thoughts. Okay? This is the most significant and inspiring of all facts known to man. It reflects man's divine nature. This divine prerogative is the sole means by which you may control your own destiny. If you fail to control your own mind, you will surely be If you fail to control your own mind, you may be sure you will control nothing else. I like that. If you can't control your mind, you're not controlling nothing else. If you must be careless with your possessions, let it be in connection with material things. Your mind is spiritual estate. Protect it and use it with care, which will provide divine royalty. You are given willpower for this purpose. Okay? Unfortunately, there is no legal protection against those who, by design or ignorance, poison the minds of others with negative suggestion. Okay, so we're going to talk now about some of the people in which have protected themselves and done great things by it, and you'll see what I'm saying here. Men with negative minds try to convince Thomas A. Edison that he could not build a machine that would record and reproduce the human voice because they said no one else has ever produced such a machine. Edison did not believe them. He knew that his mind could produce anything that his mind could conceive and believe, and that knowledge was the thing that lifted the great Edison above the common herd. Belief, conviction, right? Men with negative minds told F.W. Woolworth he would go broke trying to run a store on 5 and 10 cent sales. He did not believe them. He knew that he could do anything within reason if he backed his plans with faith. Now here we go. Exercising his right to keep other men's negative suggestions out of his mind. You hear that? Exercising his right. It is your right, ladies and gentlemen, to keep other people's suggestions. People don't see the world you see the way you see it. People don't get the same blessings you see it. All they can do is tell you what they think is true. And based on what they believe to be true, they will make a judgment and try to deter you from your vision or your goal. But you have the right. It is your right. That's the name of the video. It is your right to exercise and keep other men's negative suggestions out of your head, because the negative suggestions, ladies and gentlemen, are seeds. We've talked about seeds before, but you plant a seed, it grows in the right fertile soil. And the thing is, negativity and sometimes doubt and everything else, it's a fertile soil. That's why you must be very aware of what you're planting. If you plant nothing in your fertile soil, weeds will grow. They'll come from somewhere and they will grow. Men with negative minds told George Washington he could not hope to win against the vastly superior forces of the British, but he exercised his divine right to believe. Therefore, this book was published underneath the Stars and the Stripes, while the name Lord Cornelius has been often forgotten. Once again, he exercised his divine right to believe. Doubting Thomases scoffed scornfully when Henry Ford tried out his first crudely built automobile on the streets of Detroit. Some said the thing would never become practical. Others said no one would pay money for such a contraption. Ford said, "I'll belt the earth with dependable motor cars," and he did. His decision to trust his own judgment had already piled up a fortune far greater than the next 5 generations of his descendants can squander. For the benefit of those seeking vast riches, let it be remembered that practically the sole difference between Henry Ford, now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read this again. Let it be remembered that practically the sole difference between Henry Ford and the majority of the more than 100,000 men that work for him is that Ford has a mind and he controls it. The others have minds in which they do not control. Basically, people going through the motions of every day, getting up, getting the kids ready, going to work, getting off work, going back home, fixing dinner, washing dishes, washing clothes, getting to bed, and then they're going to bed and they're doing it again. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not control. That's routine and rhythm. That's going through the routine and the motion. The problem is that doesn't create success. In your home, it will create success. But if you want something more of your life, you're going to need to do a little bit more or something and take control over your mind instead of letting your mind go on autopilot as it goes through the rest of his day. The only difference between Ford and his men, as I said, is that he controlled his mind and they did not. Henry Ford has been repeatedly mentioned because he is an astounding example of what a man with a mind of his own and the will to control it can accomplish. My goodness. Mind control is the result of self-discipline and habit. You either control your mind or it controls you. Hence the routine. The routine is your mind utilizing your subconscious programming that you've already programmed the routine of the day. Your mind is controlling you when you go through routine and habit. Now, if you go, because I mean, think about it. If you're shooting a basketball, eventually when you get the ball in your hand, you don't have to think about it. The same thing when you're washing dishes. You know how to wash dishes. So your mind is controlling you to the rhythm, right? So if you control your mind or your mind controls you, there is no halfway compromise. The most practical of all methods for controlling your mind is the habit of keeping it busy with a definite purpose backed by a definite plan. Do you have a definite purpose backed by a definite plan? You do. If you're running your household, it's to have your household run smoothly, maybe to take care of your husband and kids. That's why you have a habit of keeping it busy. That's your definite purpose and your definite plan, right? Study the record of any man or woman who achieves noteworthy success, and you will observe that he has control over his own mind. Is your household a success? Great, you have control over your mind. Moreover, that he exercises that control and directs it towards the attainment of the definite objectives. The reason that you're not more of what you want to be is because you're not directing your aim and with your objectives. You don't have definite objectives. You're just kind of going through the motion. Without this control, success is not possible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about, you have the right and the ability to let people into your mind, let that negativity into your brain. You have that right to do so. And until you decide to step out and not do that anymore, you're going to keep getting the same thing over and over again. That's just the way the world works. Get a definite purpose. It's your right to make a decision. It's your right to have more in life. God did not put us on this earth to have less. But it is up to us to take the actions to get there. And if you're allowing the negativity to block you from the blessings. See, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you've been given ideas. I talk about this all the time. You've been given ideas and thoughts and things that change this world that nobody else has received. But you're allowing people who don't have those same ideas and thoughts to dictate yours because they squandered theirs and they want to protect you. So they tell you you can't do it and it can't be done to save you from your problems because they decided theirs weren't good enough. You need to step up and step out because it is your right to tell them not to listen. I don't care if it's your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, your boss, your job, your mom, your dad. I don't care who it is. If they're telling you not to succeed and not to step out in your purpose, you need to let that go. You can still love them, but you need to let that go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get us off of this video today with 3 quotes real quick. All right, hold on, I got this one. Protect yourself from spirit contamination. Limit your time with negative people because negative people actually will, guess what? They will contaminate your spirit. Huge deal. Contaminated spirit creates nothing. Life is short. Do not waste it with negative people who don't appreciate you. Keep them in your heart. You're okay to love negative people, but keep them out of your life. I can't tell you how many people in my life I have done that with. Well, the purpose for doing that was not because I didn't love them or care about them, but because I have a journey I must go on, and if they're going to prevent me from getting there, I have to let them go and just love them from afar until they get rid of their negativity and they come on back. Third and last, and I love this quote, you can't litter negativity everywhere and wonder why you got to trash your life. You can't do it, ladies and gentlemen. So I need you to step up, ladies and gentlemen. It's your time to take the negativity out of your world. It's your right to do so. You don't have to stay in the pain that you're in right now. You don't have to stay with the negativity you have right now. In all reality, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to you to decide to step up outside of that world and to step forward. Once again, if you did not hear me say it, and I'm going to say it again, he exercised his divine right, exercising his right to keep another man's negative opinion out of his mind, and he piled up a fortune. Who is in your mind? Ask yourself that question. Who is in your mind, ladies and gentlemen? Who is in your mind? And who's telling you what to do? And are you listening to him? Most of the time, ladies and gentlemen, you're not in control of your own mind and you think you are. Pay attention to whose mind you're listening to because you're strong enough to know what's good for you. And if you pray about it, you put yourself in the right position to step forward and get rid of that negativity, the sky's the freaking limit. And that's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. All I have for you, and I'm going to go back to the beginning quote here. Let's do this one more time. Successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their abilities. They vary in their desires to reach their potential. And another thing that can be added to this is that they vary in their desire to keep the negativity out of their brain. Successful people don't hang around with unsuccessful minds. Why? Not because they don't love them, but because it stops their progress. Don't let anybody stop your progress. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for being here. I need to show you this just in case you need to hear it. I believe and I love in each and every single one of you. Now go out there and be successful. Be the greatest thing that you want to be. I don't know what that is, but you have an idea. It's been given to you. You completely understand. Now go out there and rock it because it is your right to get that negativity out of your life, but it's also your right to be successful and have greatness and abundance and success beyond your wildest dreams. Talk to you soon. See you guys later. Happy Friday. I will see you on Monday.